She kissed my boyfriend on the mouth. At his birthday party. What my stepmom did next shattered everything. Stay to the end because what happened after will leave you absolutely speechless. My stepmom kissed my boyfriend on the mouth while we were celebrating his birthday, and now I don't think home will ever be the same. My 22F stepmom 38F was drunk, but it's still crazy. My boyfriend is 26. We were celebrating my boyfriend's birthday. My stepmom loves to drink, and she's been drunk on many occasions. Usually, she just becomes a louder and chattier version of herself. She's gotten angry drunk a few times too. Maybe what kind of drunk she becomes depends on her mood. I have never gotten drunk, and I don't drink alcohol, so maybe I'm ignorant of its effects, but I find it hard to believe alcohol can bring this out. Please correct me if I'm misinformed. My boyfriend was sitting on a chair, but, like, reversed, so he had his arms crossed, resting them on the backrest, and his head was on his arms. We were watching a game on TV, and the birthday party had kind of winded down. Most of the guests were gone. I was cleaning up. My stepmom was lounging outside and smoking. I missed some of the approach, but my boyfriend said she just came up to him, and she was slurring her words. The TV was loud, so when she said something to him, he didn't catch it. He gestured for her to come closer and say it in his ear. She leaned in and told him, "You're so handsome." Movie star eyes. He said he just smiled back up at her and kinda laughed it off. He could tell she was very drunk. The rest of it I saw for myself. He returned his attention back to the TV. She reached out and touched his chin to get him to look back at her, and then she leaned in. My boyfriend told me, she said, "Happy birthday, darling," and kissed him on the cheek and then suddenly on the mouth. If that wasn't enough, she tried to kiss him again on the mouth, but he pushed her face away. She laughed, and I was so shocked I was frozen. I don't even remember what I said, but I said something. I remember my boyfriend's friend said, "Did she just kiss you?" My stepmom just laughed it off and told us, "Don't make a big deal out of it. It was an accident." She won't so much as apologize, but when she got sober, she approached me privately to tell me not to tell my dad. Am I the jerk if I tell my dad? Or is this really just not a big deal? I don't want to cause stress for my dad, but I think this is a little too big to file away as a drunk oopsie, her words, and just forget about it. Top/relevant comments. Commenter, alcohol can do a lot of things to you. It can make you completely lose control. However, as adults, it's our imperative to know our limits. She bears full responsibility. She assaulted your boyfriend. Thank God you witnessed it because as drunk as she seemed, she may claim it was your boyfriend who assaulted her since she was too drunk to consent. You absolutely should tell your father. His wife likes to drink, and this is how she behaves when drunk. Commenter 2. You're the jerk if you're actually dumb enough not to tell your dad that his wife cheated on him. She can't say she was drunk if she remembered and approached you to keep it a secret. She knows what she did was wrong and didn't get the reaction she wanted. Commenter 3. Good job not drinking. It is a very good personal decision. As for your stepmom, if you are close with your dad, I would tell him. If you have a strained relationship, I would maybe think twice. Either way, she should not be around your boyfriend again until she apologizes. Op's response, our relationship is strained, but we love each other, and I'm going to take the advice here and talk to him today. He deserves to know, and my conscience can't take it anymore. I also think it's unfair to my boyfriend if this is not made out to be serious because he was the victim. Update 1 day later. Hi, everyone. Thank you for responding to my advice request on this sub. I got asked this a lot, so I'll say it here in case my comment didn't get noticed. My dad is 43 years old, so the age difference between him and my stepmom, 38, isn't super drastic. People were wondering where he was during this. He was at work. I waited until my dad was home alone. I told him what happened. We have a rocky relationship because he has poor emotional regulation. That's why my mom left him. It's getting better between us though, since both of us have been making a conscious effort to communicate calmly. So this conversation was one that I was dreading with my dad, but it went as well as it could. My dad's first response was still to be irritable and defensive. He focused his anger, unfairly, on my boyfriend initially. I had to make it very clear that this happened unknowingly and spontaneously as far as my boyfriend is concerned, and that he was a victim in this. I also mentioned to my dad that my stepmom told me not to tell him. My dad was too angry for words and didn't say much to me. He left the house and came back later, a bit more cooled off. He made me repeat the order of events again, exactly what was said. He then said the rest is between my stepmom and him, and he doesn't want me to get involved. He requested that I not have my boyfriend over for a while. I can go over to his place instead. That works out since my boyfriend doesn't feel comfortable around my stepmom anymore. You guys speculated that my stepmom has a drinking problem. She definitely does. I think it's gotten worse in the last few months. I don't know why, though. I have never had any issues with my stepmom, but we are not exactly close either. Top/relevant comments. Commenter, good for you for telling your dad. I'm sure that was an uncomfortable conversation, but it needed to be had. Yes, your stepmother has a drinking problem. That's the root cause of this situation. I keep your boyfriend away to make sure this doesn't happen again. Ops response, thank you, guys, for the push. I hope she gets the help she needs. But, unfortunately, our relationship will never be the same because it's been a day, and she still hasn't apologized to me or my boyfriend yet. Second update 11 days later. Hi, guys. I just wanted to come back to add something to this situation. Last update, I promise. My dad and stepmom talked privately, and although I didn't get to be a part of those conversations, she did approach me afterward requesting to make an apology. She asked me if we, my boyfriend and I, could come over to hear her out. So we did. I could tell she took time beforehand to reflect, and her apology was sincere. During the apology, she explained that she was so shocked and appalled by what she had done that she didn't want to acknowledge it or hear about it. She said she cannot explain to us why she did that because she herself doesn't know. She said she does not remember the event either, and that has made it even more horrifying for her. She has a lot of self-loathing. She said she feels like she doesn't have any control anymore, that this was her rock bottom. She said her natural response when I brought it up was to try to reject it and push it away or try to make light of it because a mention of it made her sick with herself. At the same time, she understands that we didn't know how she was feeling or thinking or what was in her head. We could only judge her on her actions and behavior. When she minimized it, asked me to hide it from my dad, and basically dismissed and avoided it in general, it just made everything worse. It was wrong, and she does seem to recognize that. I really believe her. But also at this point, I think we're all just trying to move forward from it, knowing she did something she can never take back, saying my boyfriend. She knows that she broke everyone's trust and that it will take time to repair and also that things may not ever truly recover or be the same, and forgiveness may never happen for her. My dad genuinely believes what happened was the result of alcoholism and her deteriorating mental health. I didn't know this, but she has been seeing a psychiatrist on an outpatient basis, and other incidents have happened with her, not infidelity or anything like what happened with my boyfriend, but instances where she has apparently embarrassed herself by doing things she would have never done otherwise. My dad refused to go into much detail about that in front of myself and my boyfriend, though. My dad doesn't want me involved and has made it clear this is not my problem and not something I have to help with. He doesn't want that, which is a great relief. Lately, I think back a lot about how I miss so many signs. Like, we're not close, but I didn't know the extent of this addiction. She drank a lot and smoked, but I always thought it was just her personality. She always looked immaculate and put together and happy. She was so functional. Well, until she wasn't. I said this in my last post, but I'll say it again. I only noticed her drinking as a problem in these last few months because she started getting disorganized and messy and not her usual self. They are going to separate, but my dad is going to continue to support her a bit with getting help. It's not that there's hope for reconciliation or anything. My dad said he wants to take it one step at a time. She needs to get sober first. Who she is right now is a person no one wants to be with or be around. She has agreed to get help and comply with treatment. She is not moving out of the house immediately because the plan is for her to go into a treatment program. Also, she drinks so much that she is at risk for withdrawal, so she's moving into the guest room until she gets into treatment and then will not be returning home. I am back at home again too. I don't know if I mentioned this, but I live with my dad still. I want to expedite moving out soon because the energy in this house just feels tainted. I also need to be away from her. Unfortunately, my boyfriend is still uncomfortable about what happened. He's been brushing it off like it's fine and he's over it now, but I think it's something he's still processing. With us, it's become awkward. I feel like there's a huge distance suddenly between us. It's hard to describe. I think it's even harder for him to articulate it to me, but it sucks. Because I don't know, I feel like he's going to break up with me soon. I'm trying my best. I'm also trying to give him space and be supportive and let him have autonomy over this. I just feel so poorly equipped to fix things, and I know in my heart that I actually can't fix this. It's a helpless feeling. I'm sure that my family just grosses him out now, and I feel so embarrassed about it and guilty, and I feel gross myself. I wish I could wash everything away. I really need to move out. I wish this didn't happen. Anyway, so that hurts. Also, my biological mom remarried, and she's a year older than my dad. Hope that clears up any misconception about their ages. I think some people misread. So when they did the math, they kept using my stepmom's age to calculate when I was born. They were not exactly teen parents, but I honestly can't imagine having a kid at my age. So it's still crazy to me that they had me so young. Thank you again for reading and listening and pushing me to communicate. I think if my dad and I can survive this, we can probably communicate our way through anything, right? Wishful thinking. My only request is, If anyone has advice or tips for dealing with a family member who is addicted to alcohol, please share if you can. The brochures I picked up are so basic. Top/relevant comments. Commenter, I think you need to realize that your stepmom didn't just kiss your boyfriend. Your stepmom SA'd your boyfriend. This goes beyond him feeling uncomfortable. He might not be able to move past it with you. I would look into resources regarding how to support partners in these situations. Ops response, I wish I had described it better, but I'm struggling to understand how I feel too, so I haven't found the words yet. I know I didn't say it in my post, but I agree with you. It is trauma, and I have immense guilt about how someone in my family gave that to him. It's been really hard to witness. It's like he's missing the light in his eyes, and I feel like my presence is a reminder that just makes it worse. That's one of the reasons I moved back home, so he can have space to feel his feelings and seek support. I'll always be available as a support too. I just didn't want to smother him. I want everything to be on his own terms even if our relationship ends. Of course, I don't want it to, but I would understand. And if it will help him feel free from this, I would even encourage it. Thanks, guys, for all your perspectives and criticisms and for sharing them with me in a kind way. I probably need therapy too after this. Commenter 2. Your boyfriend is uncomfortable because you and your father are using her alcohol addiction as an acceptable reason for your stepmother to assault him in front of other people, and you are continuing to live with her and support her. The fact that your father refuses to tell you about the other incidents where she embarrassed herself but says they weren't cheating means absolutely nothing. This incident wasn't cheating. It was SA. The only way you and your boyfriend can stay together is if you show him that you support him. You have to leave your father's house. Ops response, I just want to clarify that we are absolutely not excusing her behavior. She knows it was SA, and we have only ever framed it that way, which is why my dad has requested separation from her. I'm trying to show my support to my boyfriend to the best of my ability, and I'm also respecting his space and giving him time because I know he can't magically be okay just because she apologized. Commenter 2. But you are staying in that house with her. Your dad is letting her stay. You are taking her side as far as your boyfriend can see, and that's also what everyone else sees. You are not showing your boyfriend support because you are still living with her and helping your dad support her in getting treatment. You are not doing anything that shows your boyfriend you are on his side. Have you and your father offered to get him therapy after she SA'd him, and then his girlfriend decided to stay in the same house as her and support her therapy? Ops response, I mentioned that I live at home. Yes, but I also mentioned that I'm trying to expedite moving out. It's not realistic for me to just immediately leave because that's not really possible, but I'm trying to do it as fast as possible for me. I also mentioned this, but she is going into treatment. She will be leaving the house as soon as she gets her bed at a facility. My dad did extend her the courtesy of doing treatment first and then moving out because she wouldn't be home anyway and can search for a place while at treatment. They also help coordinate that at the facility, apparently via social work and other support. For her to move out will take time to arrange. She has no family and nowhere else to go. That doesn't mean we excuse her behavior or that she's even forgiven. Kicking someone out into the street? I don't know if real life works like that, but I can only explain our approach, and you're totally welcome to judge it. Maybe your interpretation when reading my post is a lot more objective, but also more black and white because you're on the outside looking in, and it's easier. It could also be that maybe I failed to be clear in my story about some details, but I'm trying to clarify them now in the comment. Also, my boyfriend does not see it the way you describe. None of what she is going through or her treatment or whatever even matters when it comes to my boyfriend. I mentioned those things so people can know what's going on. I didn't mention it to say we're forgiving her or anything like that. My boyfriend is dealing with what happened as a victim, and so I keep it very separate. I didn't want to say too many details about his feelings or his side of things because he's already an SA victim thanks to my family member. It feels wrong to try to explain too much for him. It's not my place, and I can never truly understand or know how that feels. Also, I mentioned in my post that my dad does not want me to be involved in her treatment or helping her or anything, so that's not my responsibility or one that I'm taking on. And I'm glad that burden is not on me because I haven't exactly forgiven her either. I hope that helps clear things up a bit.